What is going on, guys? It's Joe from KFR Technology, and just as a follow-up from my last video, I wanted to show you what I did with the little project I assigned you. If you got that far, let me just compile this, open it up. Yay! And we get a little house here. Okay, yeah, this is an architectural feat right here. I mean, well, like all those wonders of the world. Just look at this. You cannot beat this. I mean, it's got proper siding. Look at that roof. It's got a two-dimensional roof. Doesn't really, just hangs there. It's not really attached to anything. It's got that floating window and that door that that's not really a rectangle, because if you connect it with your eyes it would go like that. But whatever, we're not here to judge. This is my great house. I'm sure you guys created good houses yourselves. So let's just start up a new class we got right here. Oh, here, I'll just show you the code I got right here. So don't worry about this. This is just right here. This is just to call a new line. I wanted to see. I mean, of course I knew I could do it, but I just wanted to see how I could do all this with just one system.out.println line, and that's just by concatenating the strings. Got a string right here, and then you're saying, oh, part of the system.out.println is this, is also this, because you're concatenating it. So I'm not gonna take out the plus, but if I take out the new line, I'll show you what happens. So we got this right here. It all prints out on one line, because the thing is, this is just a print line, so it's all printing on the same line. If you don't have a new line being printed out. So \n is just new line. Alright, so we're gonna start a new class. Second, oh jeez, that was close. Second class. Oh, I should use camo case. Alright, ooh, big font again. So let's just delete this all. Start from scratch. It's a public class and second class. Now we're gonna need our two curly braces again. They're opposite facing. Or public static. Oh jeez. Static void main. Oh my god. My accuracy on the keyboard is not good today. Sorry. Give string arguments, or I'm gonna put two curly braces right there. Alright, so today I want to show you all the types we have, and they're reserve words, but they're data types that we have in Java. So here, when you're gonna send a variable, you're gonna have to give it a type. So you don't have to do this in like Python or Lua, but in this language, this language just has types for the variables. So when we're working with numbers, we're gonna have ints. So ints are your most basic. That's you've got numbers like 1. Oh, well, you gotta name it. So let's just name it. Geez, I don't even know. Num is usually a basic one, and then we set it to equals. We set it equals. Let's just say 1, and that will work. Compiles and no syntax errors. But let's say we want it 1.0, you know, it's an integer. Well, well, basic syntax error aside, it said, basically it was just calling a conversion from double to int, because what we have next is a double. Just call it num2. Terrible names. I'll get back onto better names, but I'm just not thinking of good ones right now, because usually you use your names. You're gonna name something for the purpose it's doing. So whatever it's doing, you're gonna name it that. So currently, I just don't have any use for them. So usually, when you're creating a variable, you don't know what to use it for. You'll just call it num or something. Or if it's a string, you'll use like str. So for now, let's just name them that. 2.0 works on that, but let's just take away the 1. We gotta have a semicolon. And that works. So the reason why this works is because an integer, it only takes, you know, integers, negative numbers, 0 and positive, well, 0, negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers, and but a double, it can take decimal places. Doesn't really do fractions. You can't just, you can do 3 divided by 4, but it automatically just converts it to 0.75. So, I mean, if you know 3 divided by 4 is 0.75, you might as well do it. Percents don't work, like 5%, because the percent does something different in Java, and I'll get to that later. So, always just use decimals if you're doing doubles. So, let's see. If we're working with numbers with decimal places, we can also use a float. Although programmers don't use floats as much as we use doubles, so it serves the same purpose, but it has to do with memory limitations. Floats are a bit easier to use, but when you're using Java, I'm sure all of you guys have more than 256 megabytes of RAM. I'm just guessing. I'm pretty sure that's a safe assumption, so just not gonna use floats most of my time. We also got booleans, and those can have 2 states. They can have true. Ooh, jeez. They can have true, which is like on, if you want to think of it that way, or false, which is off. Those are good for working with if statements, which I'll get on to in the next lesson. That will be in number 3. So yeah, let's just call it boolean. Let's just call it detect equals false. And you can set it for false for now, and then unless a variable is a constant, you can change it anytime. So we could say boolean detect equals true, and now then the little neat thing you can do here is system.out.print. With system.out.println and system.out.print, you do not have to just pass it a string. You can pass it your booleans too. So let's just pass it detect. We'll see what happens. Should it do false or should it do true? Let's see what happens. Variable. Oh, whoops! Duh. You don't need to do that again if it's already said to be a boolean. Duh. Alright. So it's true because it's not a constant right now, which you don't know about constants, but these constants will stay constant. It's in the name. So right now, if it's just like this, just think you can always edit it and make it different. You'll use constants later on to, you'll use them for like equations, because you don't want constants to change. Just like you don't want constants to change in math and science. It's the same thing in computer science. So yeah, you can always change it. So we could also say num equals num2 times 2, and oh yeah, because we're gonna it still doesn't convert it, even though you're thinking 5 times 2 is 10. Since it's a double, we could either change this to an int right now and take off the 0.0, or we could do this. So yeah, and that's just saying we're gonna take an int of whatever this is. So it's gonna round it up if it's over 0.5, and it's gonna round it down if it's below below 0.5. So the thing is, it's num2, which is 5.0, then times 2, that's 10. So it's gonna it's 10.0. So it's gonna convert it to an int though, which is just 10. So this works, and now I can print out num, and it's just gonna print out. It's just gonna print out where are we going? Just gonna print out 10 because 2 times 5 is 10. But if you didn't want to do that, this is a tiny bit more advanced. Basically, that's all that's doing. But if you don't want to get into that right away, I would recommend just using 2 ints for. If it can be solved that way, I'd just do it that way. It's a lot easier to change your variables if you need to. If you can't change your variables for some reason, then I would use that method of putting int in parentheses. It casts it. Casting is just a tool we use. It's just a tool to change the value you get and change it to a different kind of variable. So we could always it's not gonna work like well, actually equals detect. I have actually never done this before, because we never really needed to do it before. Oh wait, whoops, not num. Making an int. Yeah, you can't convert a boolean to an int. I thought maybe it would return a 0 or a 1, but yeah, that's what I thought. It's not gonna work. You can only convert kind of like common data types, so don't try. You could convert. I don't think you can convert a string, because if you have any letters in there, I mean that's a basic precaution. So it's just like numbers to numbers, characters and strings. It's things that kind of logically go together, but don't try to go from like a boolean to an int like I just did. I just wanted to see if it would work, but yeah, it didn't. So what I want you guys to do, just where we're coming on a bit of we're getting a lot of time right here. So what I want you guys to do is, I just want you guys to mess around with the system.out.println method again, but this time I want you to pass it a different parameter other than, you know, the strings we were doing. So I want you to use nums, you know, plus num2. See, what will that bring us? It's 6, you know, because 5 plus 1 is 6. That uses basic knowledge, but if we have num, and, well, we know num is 1, plus, what if we do this? Do you think it will bring us something different? Well, let's just see. 15. Well, you must be thinking 1 plus 5 doesn't equal 15, but it's concatenation is just bringing a number and a string together. So, I mean, it'd just be the same if I went like this too. It would also work like this. Compile. This will also equal 15, but it just does it a different way. So, just mess around with that and see how it works. So, yeah, with concatenation, it brings the two together in just one string, and because there's no space, see, now it won't be 15, it will just be a 1 and a 5, because I put a space right there. So watch, it's a 1 and a 5, but taking it out, it just morphs them together basically. So I just do some exercises with that, you know, name some variables. I'll show you better examples of better naming, because right now we don't have any purposes to serve with these variables, but I want you guys to just look at what you can do with variables and look with what you can do with the system.out.println method with these variables you've created. Alright, this is Joe with KFR Technology. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys.